Good news, I'm going to be short today. That's very funny, very funny. I'm always short. There you go. What I lack in height, I make up in, stature in other ways. So what I decided to do this morning is to read some things. We're a modest crowd today, so and my husband is of the sound belief that the day of the sermon is dead. And so therefore, it's much more people want to have a discussion. So it's hard to do when you've got hundreds of people, but it's actually able to do here. But I wanted to share a couple of things from this book. It's called the Sukkot and Simchat Torah Anthology. There's a series of these books for every single Jewish festival. And it goes through history, it goes through, from the Torah to rabbinic times to medieval times to modern times. It has short stories, it has modern poetry, Israeli poetry, and it has various bits and pieces that really talk about all the different ways in which the different festivals are seen and understood. So I just chose a couple of readings that I found fascinating that I don't know that we have heard before. So this one comes from Pesikta Rabbati, which is a midrashic text. And so it says here, talking about the lulav over there, you shall take the branches of the palm tree, like the palm tree which has a single heart that keeps reaching upwards, so Israel has a single heart reaching upwards to their parent in heaven. Of the 4 plants that make up the lulav cluster, I think I need a show and tell. Can someone bring that to me over there? Thank you. Of the 4 plants that make up the lulav cluster, 2 of them bear fruit, and 2 of them do not bear fruit. Those that bear fruit must be closely bound to the ones that don't bear fruit. The former represent the disciplines of the wise, whose prayers, in keeping with the admonition from Palestine meaning the land of Israel, are meant to bear fruit for the mercy of the ordinary householders. On the other hand, the plants that do not bear fruit must be bound close to those that do bear fruit, since the former represents those persons who are meant to provide a physical comfort for the sages and the disciples. Right? So in short, those that bear fruit are the knowledgeable ones, and they're offering the fruit of their minds and their wisdom. Those that don't bear fruit also have something to give. They provide the shelter and the home and the safety. In another comment, the verse reads, take for your own sake the product of the goodly trees, these here, right here. So the goodly trees is the etrog, this is the gigantic etrog, standing for the people in Israel. Even as an etrog has an aroma and has edible fruit, so Israel has in their midst people who have knowledge of Torah and also have good deeds. Can't do this with 2 hands. The branches of the palm tree, right here, that's the lulav part. The branches of the palm tree also stands for, the palm tree has edible fruit but no aroma, so Israel has in their midst people who have knowledge of Torah but not good deeds. The boughs of leafy things here also stands for Israel, and the myrtle, which are the ones that look like eyes, has an aroma but not edible fruit. So Israel has in their midst people who have good deeds but not Torah. So the people that have good deeds and study of Torah and observance of Torah, there are people that have both. There are people that have just good deeds but actually not knowledge. There are people that have knowledge but they don't actually do the right thing with the knowledge. And okay, that's the last one, the willow. So the Holy One says, in order to make it impossible for Israel to be destroyed, let all of them be bound together as plants are bound into the cluster, so that the righteous among them will atone for the others. What do we learn from that? What's the message from that? It takes all types and we need to stick together, right? We balance each other out because we are human. Right? We're not all going to be perfect. We don't all have the same skills. We're all going to do wrong things and we're all going to do right things. So we're stronger when we stick together because we can hold each other up when they're not doing the right thing.
So I learned from this that if the righteous are going to atone for us, that there's still hope for me yet.
There are some that actually are not attainable, but you know. Furthermore, the statement, and you shall have nothing but joy, this comes from Perusha Torah, it's a commentary on the Torah, is an assurance that if one is joyous and glad on Sukkot, that person will be happy and kind-hearted through the year. So right now, smile, everyone, because this is setting the tone for the rest of the year. All right, so this is another really nice one. This deals with the issue of bringing in guests, right? We're told into our sukkah, we're supposed to welcome guests, the ushpizin. Trying to look, the people in the intro class were here yesterday, not today. But we talked about, so traditionally there are 7 men who are honored, and each night, each one of the male guests have an attribute of God that's connected with it, and we're supposed to kind of focus on those different attributes. And then in modern times, we also have the ushpizot, the 7 women that were also attributed for their qualities that they have. So we have Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Joseph, and David. I don't have the women's name in front of me, but Sarah, Rebecca, Devorah is one of them, Abigail, Huldah, Esther, and Miriam. No, actually, Rachel and Leah are not included, and Miriam are the women that are there that are reminded, right? So it is a thing. It says, you shall dwell in booths for 7 days. Take your place, guests from on high. Take your place, hallowed guests. Take your place, guests of exalted faith under the protection of the Holy One. A holy privilege is this our lot and the lot of Israel? For it's written, the portion of God is God's people. This is the inheritance, hold on. Let the beauty of Adonai be upon us. Establish for us the work of your hands and establish it there. I invite my meal to be exalted with the spiritual guest. So that's the prayer that we say when we invite people into our Sukkot. So it is customary to bring people into our Sukkah during Sukkot, to invite guests. So if you have a Sukkah, do so, and you will help us fulfill this. The last thing I'm going to say is the Meretzer Rabbi said, during the high holy days, which goes from when to when? It goes from Rosh Hashanah, right? Erev Rosh Hashanah through Shmini Atzeret, right? So we often think it finishes at Yom Kippur, but it goes through. So during the high holy days in the month of Tishrei, a Jew serves God with their whole being. On Rosh Hashanah, the day of remembrance, we serve God with our brain, since memory enwreathes the mind. On Yom Kippur, we serve God with our heart, since fasting strains the heart. On Sukkot, we serve God with our hands as we grasp the etrog and the lulav. To me, I think about happiness. That means it's not just something in our mind, and it's not just something that we feel, but it's actually something that we have to do and create. Happiness has to be created. It is not intuitive. We have to create it, find it, and do it. And on Simchat Torah, with our feet, when we parade in the circuits and dances of the Torah. So I just thought I would share that with you.